Hey everyone, Derek here,
Hi, I'm Kat.
and we're going to go over our dance styles where we're going to look at the leader rotating versus the follower rotating. So we're going to start open handhold as we have before. We showed you last video where how we can get into this two-hand handhold, getting into our basic. And now just as we were doing before, the leader is going to lift his left hand, but instead of going over her, I'm going to keep it over me. I'm going to step through the opening, and now I'm going to rotate in the hand to face her. She moves and rotates to face me, and tap. We are a little bit further away, so I might do another basic to get a little closer. Same thing again. We got a little far away because I reached my hand too far up, so I'm going to keep it nice above, relaxed above my head, and bring it right down. And now we're nice and close to each other. So again, I'm just creating a window to go up and under and right back down. So this is a leader's rotation to my left. Anything to know?
Yes, so ladies, how do we know that he's initiating his own turn instead of turning us? The main difference is that when he's asking us to turn, his hand is kind of directed towards our center or towards our center of gravity. When he's going to be turning himself, you notice where our hands are. It's in his space. So one is in my space, the other one is in his space. Now, when he is turning, for this one, we have to displace ourselves and move as well. So when he starts turning, we are actually going to take a step forward so that we're kind of crossing each other. We're like ships in the night, right? So this is his first step. The second step, remember, we always need to find each other. We always need to be somewhat facing each other. So on step 2, we're facing each other. I find him. And then step 3 is the tap. So as I'm moving on step 1, my body is following his. I'm not going this way. I'm not going away from him. I'm following him so that all I have to do is do like a little turn and then tap.
Yeah. And so again, especially for the leaders, you don't need to accomplish the whole rotation right away. You'll see that as I go 1, 2, even by the end of 2, I might not be completely to her. At the end of tap, I am though.
Yeah, but he can see me in the peripheral vision.
Right, I'm still connected.
Yeah, so on 2, you kind of want to be able to make sure that you know where your partner is.
Definitely.
And not have your back to them, because then it's just too late.
Definitely. So very similar in terms of the physicality of it, where instead of going to my left, the tricky part with this is that as we're going into the basic, I'm going to lift my right arm in the same way. It rotates through, and now, but the thing is that left leg needs to cross my body, step through and under. I step forward and back, and tap. So now she didn't move, but she will when we start getting into the dancing of it. Right now I'm just showing you the movement for the leader. So the leader goes up, his hand rotates through, I step under that, I step back, and I tap. So now a little bit of, you'll notice that the follower on all of these leaders' turns has to move to keep center with him.
Right, on the first turn that we did, I actually had to displace myself physically. On this one, I'm just going to be basically rotating my body so that I know where he is and that my center finds him on 2.
Right, so as a demo, we're going to go ya, da, tap, and now we're going to step through. After the tap, I raise my hand, I step back, tap. And now you can see, we changed like 90 degrees, and I stepped backwards at the end of it, and now we're in our basic handhold. So, now we went leaders left, leaders right, again making sure that that right is over here. It's not over there.
Yeah, well, as soon as he comes into my space, I want to turn. It's my turn.
Yeah.
My time.
And yeah, and the last thing you want to do is encourage this middle ground where we're both going to be doing this to get through, and it's just not good.
Because we love to turn. So any chance we get, we think it's our turn. So you have to delineate very clearly that no, you are not turning.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. But now we're doing a jelly roll, waist roll, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to do a leader's waist roll, where I'm going to walk that way to my left. I'm going to, not even talking about basic footwork, I'm just going to put my left hand onto my right hip. She is now going to trace her fingers around my waist. And then now I have to make sure that elbow's close, so that way she then follows right into my hand, into this handhold. It's a little different. As you see, I'm now more of in a relaxed handhold and she's cupping. We're going to go into something else afterwards, but that's what happens. So again, leaders, this is our normal connection. We're going into our basic. I'm going to lead her forward into my right side. I rotate through it. She's going to trace my back. As soon as I place, I'm putting my elbow a little bit more closer to my body, so that way she can trace right away and connect.
Yeah.
And then normally I just do a turn to finish this off. Da, da, boom. And now we're back to normal.
Yeah, and for us, this is the same exact footwork as the first turn. So basically, we're going to be stepping forward.
Fix that. That's
Yeah, stepping forward, and now we're trying to find him on two, remember? So as he's walking past us, we find him on two, and then we just tap.
As I drop this hand to then move into this jelly roll, I'm going to thread it through. I'm going to pass it through our connection, so that way I'm not clocking anybody.
Yeah.
So it leaves that open space.
And he's doing it with a kind of a straight arm or a relaxed arm. The last thing you want to do is kind of bend it with your elbow up, because I'm going to walk right into it.
Right.
So you kind of want to get rid of that arm first. Make sure that it's safe for me to go.
All right, so now we've done 3 rotations. We're going to do a 3.5 or a 4 turn, where it's going to start with that same initiating waist roll, but I'm not going to let go of this hand. So now we're going to now go, I'm going to now turn this way. I'm going to do an underarm turn to my left, and I'm going to do this. So I'm the dyslexic sailor, or the making the Vogue styling in my arm. So this movement allows me to go under this weird little opening through. So that is a crazy little turn to try to kind of feel out. So guys, you got to start off with our normal handhold. As I step up, I'm going to keep my hand raised in that plateau. I step through that handhold, and I rotate back and tap. So again, we finished a little weird here, but we're going to fix that with this hand. So we start off, I'm doing, on my right hand, I do this funky handhold, so let's just put it there for right now. And now on my left hand, I'm going to do that waist roll or jelly roll. So I place it on my hip, I move through, I connect to that arm, and boom. And so now I do have 2 opposite handholds, but I can just, again, go into a rotation of the lady's turn and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Let's try it with a basic.
all right. So we got our basic going, and as soon as I finish that tap, I bring it up, I bring my hand in, done. And now I need to fix it. I just need to fix the handle. So again, ya, da, ba, and ya, da, da, and ya, da.
And for this one too, gentlemen, you can trace the back of the lady so that she knows where you are as well.
So she's saying on the return. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a waist roll for the leader. The leader is now waist rolled. And now, as I want to do that return to fix our connection, I lead her into another waist roll. So now this is fun to kind of do this looping, continuous waist rolls.
When he's turning me into this turn, the last thing you want to do is keep your elbow. Yeah, you don't want that. So what you do, you know how he was talking about the Vogue? We do exactly the same thing. We keep our elbow down so that it's safe to pass through, both for him and for me.
Right. And so any rotation, as soon as you start learning it,
Notice where your elbows are.
notice where your elbow is. As I start doing the waist roll, I said talk about threading my arm through. I didn't say thread it through this way. When I do the vogue, anything has a chance, even just a basic underarm turn for the follower. If she decides to chicken wing her arm out, there are ways that I can just be clocked. So, that's probably the biggest source of injury beyond stepping on feet that will happen in a dance, is that elbow.
Yeah, and especially when we get into faster songs and faster music, the turns are going to be like rapid fire. And so you just have to be very aware of where your arms are at all times.
Right. And so a lot of it is just keeping a relaxed arm and keeping it close to you. Mm-hmm. It's just not going wah and like having it up. When it's up, it's going to be dangerous.
Yeah. So let's try this to some slower music.
All right, leader's turns. Left. Left. Now we're going to do the right one. Maybe I do it one right after another. Yeah, da, da, left, right. So it can get a little crazy, so make sure to just try to do as small as possible. Yeah, da, da, and yeah, da, da. Nice. Here we go. Waist roll. All right. Waist roll with underarm turn. Per return, waist roll. All right. Now.